Hi there, it's Timothy with another video here. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to replace the rear right arm on a Mavic Air 2. In this tutorial I'll run through all the steps on what to take apart and how to repair the arm completely. For this repair you're going to need a 1.5mm hex screwdriver. You're going to need a Torx size 6 bit and a Torx size 5 bit. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to remove the 4 1.5mm screws that are holding on the top shell. And another tool that you're also going to need for this repair is going to be a soldering iron to resolder on the new arm. After you remove the 4 screws on the top, you're going to take the drone and flip it upside down. And from here, we are going to remove all of these 6 1.5mm screws and these 2 1.5mm screws on the sides as well. Also note these are going to be a little bit smaller in diameter, so you're going to want to set these aside. These are going to be on the arm covers. Under here you're going to see just 2 more 1.5mm screws, and you're going to have to take those off as well. After you've removed those, you're going to want to grab a Torx size 5 bit. And there's going to be 2 very small screws that are going to be in the very front, in these corners right here, one right here, and one right there. You're going to want to remove both of those as well. These are not the 1.5mm ones that hold in the gimbal. These are going to be Torx bits that look just like that. Next thing what you're going to want to do is on your screwdriver, you're going to want a very small flathead, and you're going to want to get right underneath this cover and just slowly pry it back till you get it to pop off. Just like that. You want to work it around slowly. This might be a little bit difficult just because of how much pins hold it into place. just like that. You're going to remove it. So there's quite a bit of clips that hold it into place. So it's quite difficult to remove it, but if you work around it, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. So after you remove that, you're going to want to remove 2 more 1.5mm screws that are held in the front. So now all we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and remove all the screws that hold on this bottom plate. On this screw right here, there's a little bit of a plastic silicone seal. What you want to do is just grab a flathead and just pry it out, just like that. And then go ahead and remove that screw as well. I'll show you exactly why you need to remove this shell. Now that you remove that shell, what you need access to is these 2 screws, which also hold on the top shell, and these are also going to be 2 1.5mm screws. After you've done that, all you're going to simply want to do is just grab the shell from the front and just pry up on it, just like that. What I could recommend using is just a small flathead, just so you can work around the clips a little better. Especially in these regions where the rear arm is. Just like that. So now that we have access to the solder joints, we're gonna want to turn on our soldering iron. I recommend about 850 degrees. And while we're at that, there's going to be 2 small Torx size 4 screws that you're going to want to remove. So just grab a Torx bit, size 4, and you're going to want to undo both of those screws as well. Just like that, and then we're going to flip the drone over again. Take our soldering iron, add a little bit of fresh solder to it, and then from there we're just going to start unsoldering the arm. I also recommend some small pliers, just because these wires do get hot and then it's going to be kind of difficult to solder on the wires. Now that we've done that, all we're going to simply do is just take all these wires, grab them, and then this arm should just slide off, just like that. Just pull back on it, and then the broken arm is completely off now, but don't throw it away yet because we're going to need some parts off of it. So now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and grab the brand new arm, and we're going to install it the exact same way. But before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the old solder that's on these joints and replace it with fresh new solder. just like that. Perfect. Now what we're going to want to do is just grab the arm and slide it back in. You want to make sure that all the wires go directly into this small piece right here. All the wires have to go straight into that. From here, you just want to grab the wires and just pull them all up, just so you can get easy access to them when you're resoldering them, and so that you can push the arm in all the way in. And just like that, you're going to take the arm and just push it in, and it should slide right in. Then just take all these small wires, just tug on them just to make sure that there's no slack. And then at this point, you can just install those small Torx screws once again. Just like that. Unfold the arm once again, and then from here we're gonna clean the soldering tip one more time, and then we're gonna start soldering. So as you can see on these pads, they have small letters next to them. So this one has a B, G, and a W. So that's the color code on it. So the B would be black, the G would be gray, the W would be white, and that applies exactly the same to the 3 soldering pads for the LED. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to start with the black one, because it's the furthest away. You can grab it just like this, and then just install that. It's a little bit hard, the wire's kind of short. Just like that. There's one. We're gonna go with gray next. Just drop it down a little lower. There we go. Next one is white. I don't like the way that one's set down. There we go. Just gonna take the pliers now and tuck all these cables into the cavity, just like on the other side. Just like that. Then we're gonna take our small 3 wires and pull those out. Make a little bit of extra room for them. From here we're going to go white first. Just like that. Grab the black one, the black pad. Grab the gray one, the gray pad. There we go. Now that we're done with that, we're going to want to go ahead and grab our broken arm once again. This time we're going to use a Torx 6-bit. What we're going to do is we're just going to unscrew these 2 top screws right here that hold on the prop locking mechanism. Just like that. And then we're just going to install it. There's 2 small pins here and 2 small pins on the motor. So all you do is align that, just like that, and then install those 2 screws. And you want to make sure these are on quite tight as well. Just like that. Next step is going to be taking the top shell once again, and you just want to start from the back. and you just should hear it clip into place, just like that. So what you want to look for is you want to look at the sides, make sure that both of these plastic pieces are close to each other. That should indicate that the clips have clicked into place. So now we're just going to flip it back upside down, and we're just going to use two 1.5mm screws, install those in the back. After you put those two screws back into place, you can automatically install the top shell back into place. What you want to look for is this plastic piece needs to tuck right into the lip, just like that. So this plastic piece should be behind this metal shield, metal bottom cover. And then after that, you can go ahead and install your screws once more. Just like that, and then we're going to flip the drone back over, and we're going to use the larger diameter 1.5mm screws that we had originally unscrewed. Install all four that go here. Now we're going to move on to the front. On the front, we're going to install two more of the larger diameter 1.5mm screws as well. Now that we've done that, we're gonna go with these two screws. These are also the little bit wider 1.5mm screws. After we've installed that, we're gonna reinstall these arm covers, just like that. And then for these, we're going to use the 1.5mm screws, but that have a smaller diameter. The last step is going to be reinstalling the front cover. So you're just going to want to flip it upside down, and then there should be two little cavities that these two small brackets slide into place. So you're just going to want to grab that and then push it down, and then if you had small little dings like that, you can easily just flatten that out, just like that. And then you're going to have to go back to your torque size 4-bit, or I mean torque size 5-bit, and install these final last two screws that should hold in the front cover. After you're done with that, you just want to flip over your drone, grab a battery, plug it in, and the motor should initialize when you turn it on. As you can see, the motor's moving. And you can see the LED on the rear arm is also working just as it should. If you get a different flashing color, for example, it's flashing red instead of yellow, that means you messed up one of the wires that connects to the LED. So you're going to want to double check that. And if you go back into the app and then you get an ESC status error, that could mean that you messed up on soldering the motor to the ESC, which you either had a poor solder joins or there could be another issue with your ESC. Other than that, this drone should be ready to go. Thank you for watching.